So hello friends, welcome back, and in the last video we saw the basic crux and two puzzles on the pigeonhole principle, and in the subsequent videos we will see the questions, actual problems on the pigeonhole principle. Starting with the first one, it says that we need to find a non-empty subset in an array of n integers such that the sum of the elements of the subset mod n is 0. So we'll be having an array and we need to find the subset such that the sum of the elements of the subset mod n is the size of the array, is 0. So let's have an example. So, and firstly, it is saying that we need to find, which means that he is pretty sure that the answer will exist. So yeah, we also prove this statement that the answer will always exist. Now, let's have an example that, okay, we have an array and the array has elements 2, 3, 7, 1 and 9. So these are the indexes of the answer, that if we are choosing a subset, so we need to output its index, right? So I choose a subset having elements 2 and 3. So the indexes are 1 and 2 because the sum of 2 and 3 is 5 and 5 mod 5 is 0 because n is 5 in this case, number of elements. Or another answer could have been that I choose the indexes 2, 3, 4 and 5. The sum of the elements are 3, 7, 1 and 9, which is mod 5 is 0. So like I can output any of these answers, right? Now the first thing, brute force way, which you will think, okay, I need to find a subset whose sum. So number of such subsets is 2 raised to the power n such subsets, and to find the sum of each subset you will have O of n. So in total the complexity will be n into 2 raised to the power n, which is pretty large. Now how to think of some efficient method, and the efficient method would take only O of n. So let's pause this video right here and think of some efficient method. Now I will show the efficient method. So see, we will not move to the solution and we will build our solution, right, which we usually do. Now let's think that the array has the elements 2, 3, 7, 1 and 9. Let's forget that the problem is asking us to find the subset. Let's think that we are bound to find a sub-array, because if possible for sub-array, like if I can find the answer for a sub-array, it is for sure that I can find the answer for a subset, because sub-array is a small thing and subset is a bigger part. So although I'm not sure that what I am thinking is right or wrong, but I'm saying that for now, let's think that our problem says of the sub-array rather than subset, right? So I'm thinking of the sub-array. And if I am able to prove that the answer exists for a sub-array, it is for sure that the answer exists for a subset. So yeah, like it is the same thing. But yeah, I will prove it why it is happening. Now the problem is reduced to finding a sub-array such that the sum of the sub-array is mod n is 0. So which means that if I have this question, the array 2, 3, 7, 1 and 9, I will choose any sub-array such that the sum mod n is 0. Now what I'm thinking that, okay, I will choose a sub-array so that its sum, which means that I need to find the sum of any sub-array very fast. Now whenever we need to find a sub-array, which means we need to find a range and we need to find its sum. So range sum. So we need to find the range sum very fast. So the thing that strikes our mind is prefix sums or segment trees. But I am not thinking of segment trees. Why? Because I don't have any updates. As we know that we use segment trees when we have updates, but here I'm not having any updates. So I'm thinking of the prefix sums, right? Okay. Now our problem is that I have the array. I will make another array of the prefix sums. And I showed you that how I thought of making the prefix sums array. So I have this array right here, 2, 3, 7, 1 and 9. I made the array of the prefix sums, which is 0, 2, 5. I think that you guys knew that how it is made. If you don't know that, we just do the sums, right? 0 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 5 plus 7 is like this. Like we are just doing the sums and we store it right here. So whensoever I need to find the sum of any particular range, that if I need to find the range between A and B, I will just do prefix of B minus prefix of A minus 1. So I will find the range of A and B sum. Now, what the problem says, let's move the problem back. Problem says that the sum mod n should be 0, which means the sum mod n should be 0. And I said that it is sum basically. So I can also write the same problem as that the prefix of B minus prefix of A minus 1 mod n should be 0. And I can also write the same thing as prefix of B mod n is equal to the prefix of A minus 1 mod n, which means that if I have made this array of prefix, I will make another array of prefix mod n, and if any two locations are same, which means that I have obtained a sum mod n is 0. So it means that if I had this array, right, I made this array of prefix sums. Now I will just do one thing, that I will just mod n every value of this array, which means that 0 mod 5, 0, 2 mod 5, 2, 5 mod 5. Like I will just do mod 5 of every element. Why 5? Because 5 is the n. So basically I'm just doing the prefix of I mod n, and the same thing for here, right? Now you can clearly see that what I said. Now you can clearly see that what I said was, if I obtain any two of these as same, which means that I have a range, which means that 0 and 0, which means that the range of here will have the sum, which will be mod n will be 0, which means that you can see 2 plus 3, which is 5, and 5 mod 5 is 0. Same here, if I have this range, suppose 2 here and another 2 here, so you can clearly see that the range this, you can see its sum will be mod 5 will be 0, right? So now you know, okay, what we actually thought of doing. We will find the subarray. After that, we will make its prefix sums. After that, we will do its mod n. And if I found any two of them as same, then I will say, okay, I have my range in my answer. Now I said that if I found, but now I'm saying that I will surely find such two same elements. Now why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because see, if I again think, I am doing my n is 5, right? I am doing every element mod 5. So after doing every element mod 5, I will have either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I can have only 5 values. And initially, we know that in the starting, we keep a 0 with us. So if I try that, okay, I will place all values as not same. So I will place my 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all values not same. Still, our one value will remain same, which means this 0. Now you will say, okay, Aryan, I will not place 0. Okay, you will not place 0. So you will place any other value except 0. Like if you place, suppose 4. So if I placed 4, now still I have one more 4, right? So here the logic of pigeonhole principle is applied, that my number of boxes, right? My number of boxes are n, right? Number of values are also n. So no matter what, if I place all these values, still I have a 0, which means that if I try to place all these values as not same, still one value will become same to 0. And if you will not place 0 right in these blocks, n blocks, so which means that you have n boxes and n minus 1 values, because I'm saying that I'm not placing 0. So n blocks n minus 1 values, if I will place it, so one block will be there which will have the value same as that of any another block, which is very simple. It's the actually the crux of pigeonhole principle, which I showed you in the first video, that if I have these n blocks and no matter what, I have only these n values. So if I am saying that I will not place 0 because I know that if I will place 0, I will surely obtain a pair. But if I'm saying that I will not place any 0 value. So if I need to fill these n blocks with these n minus 1 values, so I have these 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I need to place these 4 values in these 5 blocks, I will place 1, 2, 3, 4. Now one block is remaining. I need to place a value from these 4 in these last block. It is for sure that it will be out of these 4 values, and if I place it, suppose if it is 3, it is repeating. So I can for sure see that it will repeat, which means that the problem states that I can for sure say that a non-empty subset will exist such that its sum mod n is 0. And I proved it that why it is happening. And like we showed in the whole like way of thinking that okay, how we thought that okay, I need to check for the fixed sums. Then we checked okay, why we need to do mod n. After that we'll check okay, why the answer always exists. So like it's all which you need to think that okay, now you have reached to a point that you will just check okay, where two values will be same. You can do it in just a single swap, which means that if I'm moving that okay, I know that my 0 have occurred, okay, my 4 have occurred, okay, like I'm moving like this, now I'm moving like this, now my 3 have occurred, okay. Now when I reach to 4, I see that okay, my 4 had already occurred, which means that now it is the another location of 4, which means that the location of 4 which I will have here and the location of 4 now I got. So it is the range where I can say that my sum mod n would be 0, which means that you can clearly say that if I had this like the 2 here and the 2 here, so I can clearly say that the range this range mod n, which is 5, is always 0. Now as I also said that we thought of using a sub array rather than a subset. It is the reason why I said, because you will always be able to find a sub array, right? And if I'm able to find a sub array, so my answer is also true for a subset. So it is very fine that we will have a sub array and thus we can find the indexes. And if we need to find the indexes, so the first occurrence of that element and the last occurrence, which means the next occurrence of that element, and the answer would be nothing but L plus 1 comma R. Because see, as I showed you here as well, if I have 2 here and another 2 here, so I obtain the range this rather than this, because what we usually see is this. Because of minus 1 here, I am doing a plus 1 there, right? So it was the clear logic intuition of this problem. In the next video, we will see its code and how we can code it so that you guys can get a proper understanding of it. So yeah, it's all for this video and see you guys in the next video. Until then, be happy and keep coding. Bye.